whole introductory part of cybersecurity. All of us, we are trying to get our hands on. And we said a whole lot of things. We said our depth with a lot of things. Cybersecurity, we made some clarity on some important concepts. And today we want to deal with, as you all know, we said that cybersecurity is the art of protecting three major important things. I was saying, not like other ones don't matter, they do matter, but these are the three major important things to help us to guide our learning: network, systems, and data. So we are treating a core part of the whole protection we are trying to render, and that is network. So network. So before I move forward, I want to state here that most of the images that you would be seeing in the course of this slide is more of to help us to buttress more on the points, and they are solidary materials of Cisco. So the images we have gotten from Cisco Academy. So just to help us to learn better. All right. So that's what I just want to state. So with that, I think we'll have to move forward to network. So as I already laid a foundation the last time on network, I was saying that what makes it possible for different systems to communicate, because left alone, if Blessing, Chisom, or Peace have our own system and is using it, probably I won't get to see whatever that is on their system unless they have to what? They have to send it to me either using a flash drive or using a local service provision. So that means I have to be of a means of something physical for them to transfer it through to me. I'm not talking about when you say Bluetooth. Bluetooth is still part of the network we are talking about. I'm just saying that things that are in one system can't be able to get to the other person unless there are assistive devices that make it possible. But in the sense of not utilizing those assistive devices and whereby I get those kind of information transferred, whether by means of wire connection or wireless to me, then we now start talking about something is helping to make that possible. And that is what we are termed as a network. What makes it possible to us to share files, to share resources from one point towards another. So without the need of this kind of assistive devices that we normally use, like flash drive or storage devices, as some people do call it. So network is the backbone of communication. Network is what makes communications to happen. Network is what makes it possible for us to even be on this call. So, and it's a very important concept in which everyone have to deliberately know about, and from there we can be able to thrive on other areas which of importance as well. So I know that it could be getting a little bit tougher, but as of the moment, but we'll still try as much as possible to bring it down to a point whereby everyone can be able to thrive better. So that being said, I hope that we can move forward. If you are still with me, can I get a thumbs up? If you have concerns, can I still get a hands up? All right. So if you want us to do some other things, you can drop it in the comment section. Thank you very much. So I've already made mention about what network is. So when we talk about network, just know that as Machuku Peace, Chisom, Blessing, and some other people who are on the call. So for us to form a network, that means there are various kind of devices or systems per se, which are standing alone, but now they are interconnected in order for them to share resources or data. So that kind of interconnection between these devices is what we term as network. So if these devices don't have a means by which they share data and resources, then we can't talk about network. Network is the possibility of those devices coming hand in hand to share whatever they have in their own devices. So Blessing having her own data and me having my own data. So far as we have come together to share that form of data that we both have on our systems, she can see or have access to that kind of data I have in my system, and me as well can see and have access to the kind of data that is in her system, is what we can term as what network. Network can really be too small, it can really be too large, depending on the extent in which we want it to be. So when we talk about the internet, as most often you all refer to everything that you do as the internet. That doesn't default the part that the internet is a network. The internet is a network. So the internet can be classified as the largest kind of what network. So it joins other kinds of what network. So I am blessing can decide to be in a decent space and we share data pertaining to us. And then peace all of a sudden in her room or in her place of location decides to also see the data we both are sharing. I am blessing. Though I am blessing might be in the same physical location, and then we are utilizing kind of network called the Bluetooth to share that kind of information. But since Machuku is on her own location, and we know that Bluetooth doesn't extend beyond that, what we'll do, we'll search for another kind of network that enables us to do those kind of things. And when we have plugged into that kind of what networks, in the sense that you in your location you have access to that kind of network, and me in my location I have the same kind of thing that I'm sharing with blessing, and peace have the same kind of thing and trying to get into our network, we have to make a word provisions. So in the sense, peace is our own network and we are in our own network. So those network that peace belongs to, or the place she's staying, combined with my own network, we make it feasible for us to what share those kind of information. So the internet was formed because various people in their own local settings have a way of sharing information. So for that information not to be only resident in a local setting, we have to combine these different kind of local networks. And these different kind of local networks is what actually grew and grew the more to form what is called the word internet. So the internet is a kind of what network. Do not think about it. Network is the generalized word name. When we talk about different kinds of network, the internet comes in because it's the largest kind of one that enables us access to millions of computers in various locations in the world. So we can really share information no matter how distance that we are. So that doesn't still default the thing of trying to establish a kind of network between I and blessing. If we just desire that only two of us can share information or resources. So that thing is specific to I am blessing. So that kind of network too is a network and it's called local network. So the internet is a one that is kind of global and that combines various kind of local network. Are you all with me on this? If you are, can you just get a thumbs up? If not, can you express your concern? All right. Thank you very much. So let's move forward. So this was the kind of thing I was trying to buttress on. I hope that network will be favorable today because I already started running over here, but it's okay, it's fine. Let's see how it goes. All right. So as we are saying, this is a kind of diagram that depicts what I was trying to say. All right. So you can see somebody with their phone and they are on a vacation, and this is the same person on a vacation, irrespective they are on the vacation. For you to be aware of this person and where they are, or kind of have a video call with the person, they have to connect to the internet, which is a network of what network. They have to live beyond the information or data have to go beyond their own local or resident system network and come up to the internet for you to be able to watch everyone on the internet to watch see it. So that is to say that when you share things on the network, everybody on that network what sees what you have what shared. Unless you are able to what bring in some things like encryption, as we have already talked about, use of VPN, which separates that kind of network. VPN is also a kind of network that is what relatable because it actually exempts you from the internet. It closes up your communication. It gives you a kind of privacy to the kind of network so that whatever you share, only those that you want to see it will see it. Aside from that, no other person will see it. That is to say that in the internet is an open ground. So far as anybody is connected to the internet, be it somebody that is trying to read the news, as we can see, be it people who are in video conferencing and they were having a meeting, some other person is on their way or at home and they are connecting together through a video conferencing. It is the internet or network. Network, as I said, internet is still part of the network. So online gaming, that you can be able to stay in your house. For most of you are able to game with component, what is it called, with opponents online. You might have experienced the possibility of you being in your own location and then having to play a game with some other person in this different location. I doubt if girls really play those kind of games of connecting with. I think that's mostly times I've seen in soccer and those kind of things that they connect you or pair you with somebody that is in different location. This is just to tell you that intelligent networks like this one that receive news and media, the phones that probably people personal devices share their images, video conferencing, online gaming, they are all achievable because there are what network. That is how people in various locations can be able to what share data and various kind of content. Are you with me on this? If so, can I get a thumbs up? If not, can I get your concerns? All right. Okay. I hope Precious is back on the call because I think when I started the recording, she was removed. Precious, are you back on the call? All right, so let's move forward. So we want to talk about various things that can be connected to the network, what can come into the network, what can reside on the network, what can be used on the network. And these are possible devices like the computers that we all know. Many of you use a laptop. That's to tell you laptop can connect to the network. Many of you still use desktop computers. That's to say it can connect to the network. Mobile devices can also connect to a network, your smartphone, your tablets, your smartwatches, smart glasses, whatever smart things you can term it as, they can be able to connect on the network. Your Bluetooth is a network, as already said. Your Bluetooth is a network, your Wi-Fi is a network. All those things that make it possible for you to share data from one device to the another without the use of a storage medium like the one I just mentioned, a physical storage medium like flash drive also. So those types that give you those capabilities is network that makes those things to work. So we have home devices, as most of you know, security systems is already invoked, things that help you to monitor your houses and things that help you to know what is going on around your surroundings. Even household devices are now utilizing networks. Even we know that they now have smart cookers, smart refrigerators, smart ACs, all those kind of things, smart doors. So those are home devices, those are home things, and they all connect to the network. So far in a way that if you come to your house, you use a thumbprint to open your door, or you use a face ID to open your door. That is because it is a network. You can as well use your phone to monitor everything that is happening in your house, no matter wherever location you are. You can be able to put on your light in your house. This is now what we call IoT, Internet of Things, whereby simple home devices are now connected to the world's network or the internet. So you can now on your refrigerator when they bring light. You can on your AC, or you can off it. Let's assume you are in the office and about getting home, and you notice there was a light sensor that showcased on your phone that there is light in your home. So for your home not to get that kind of not to be hot when you get back, you can try to on your AC from your phone. So those kind of home smart devices can be connected to the world's network. So there are other devices. We now have the smart cars, as you can see, RFID tags. Do I need to explain that? All right, I think these are the components I need to explain. I need to explain this because many of us might not be conversant with it. ROFID, please, you guys should find the full meaning, but in the simplest way is more like chips. There oftentimes you see this form of cattle rearing. The what is it called? Hens, or somebody is rearing a cattle and they leave them to be able to graze wherever they want. And when you look at the neck of that animal, there is something that is attached to it. There is something like a rope that was attached to it. And you're wondering, how do these animals go and still what come back? The people that have them, are they not aware that this thing can get lost? But due to that kind of ROFIDs, that makes it possible for the owners to track the location of those animals. So in the sense that you can put ROFID tags and then it will be sending information to the control server. So RFID tags helps to monitor or helps to keep track of majorly locations of things that has that RFID tags on them. So it is a new improved method in cattle rearing. You use it in order to also safeguard against our equipment and materials. We put those tags on them in order to monitor them and know where things have started being moved from the place. Yes, radio frequency identification. Yeah, that's it, tags. So that's what they do, is just to identify. So many of you also have, okay, how many of you have bought something in the supermarket before? I know all of us have. Sorry for that question, but it sounds somehow, sorry. What I'm saying is that when you bring an item, when you bring an item, those items have tags on them. And when you bring them close, there is a machine that the person do what uses, and when you use it, the price pops up, and they can be able to charge you automatically. So those kind of things are RFIDs. They are called. You tag them to products, and it's used in identifying such a product and the prices based on whatever information they want to get. So it can be information on age, it can be information on prices, it can be information on the name of the product, whatever it is. I'm just showing you something that you are well accustomed to. You have probably got to use them. So that is example of that ROFID tags. So we have sensors. Sensors are more of things that notify us when things are not going as they're supposed to go. Those are sensors. So sensors are more like alarm system. How many of you still use what we call a sun alarm when there is light? You are probably on a generator, and once there is light, something sounds to notify you that there is light. So you can now go and off your generator. So that's an example of a sensor. So the sensor is triggered by what? By a particular what? By a particular thing. And when it's triggered, it makes or notifies you or alerts you about some kind of thing that is happening. So sensors is more of a notification, is more of trying to relay something to you. Why actuators on the own end is more of completing an action. So sensors tells you when things are going wrong. Actuators tell you or does those things when it's notified or gets a warning that something is going wrong. So let's assume that in a fire extinguisher of a thing that is being hanged in a wall. So sensors can be, once there is a fire outbreak, let the fire extinguisher relieve itself and spray in the environment. So the same thing also applies. Or do your AC of a thing. Your AC can have a sensor of, once the room is up to this grade of measurement with regards to getting much colder or getting less hot, turn off the AC. So those kind of things that does the action is what we say actuators. Why sensors are more of notifications, they are more of alerting systems. Actuators are more of the things that carries out an action when sensors are actually what showcase. So sensors and actuators work hand in hand. So if you are not good, or if you are just okay with sensors, you can still do with it. Like most of you uses what is it called, sensors for, once there is light, it notifies you, then you are the one that will go and change over. But there are things like actuators that once there is light, it will do what? It will change over on its own. They switch the on and off switch towards the light and the generator. If you are running on a gen, immediately there is light, it will help you to change over. So those are the kind of things actuators help us to do. So we have medical devices nowadays that help us to check. They can be connected to the internet. They can help us to check various things that is happening within our system, our BP, and so on and so forth. I hope that's a kind of devices explanatory that can be connected to a network. Are you with me on this? If yes, can I get a thumbs up? If no, can you raise up your hand for a concern? All right, thank you very much. So as you can see, this is a diagram. This is a diagram that showcases what I was trying to do. Though I'm so sorry that I didn't name this diagram, but I just needed you for us to do it together. So for us to do it together, we want to point out using this diagram what each one is. As you can see, the first diagram, which is this, the first diagram here is RFID tag, as I said. All right, so the second diagram here is a smart home accessories, whereby you use your phone to control most of the things in your home, such as your television, such as the refrigerators, and so on and so forth. Right, these are the smart glasses I'm talking about. This is your mobile phone. This is the one that has to do with what is it called? Looking after various kind of things, locations and bases and everything, identifying locations, and invariably, this is your tab. This is your smartwatch. This is the medical devices. This is the smart car. This is the sensor and actuator. Look at the kind of sensor and actuators. This is the console, game console. And this is the smart television. So these are just diagrams to invariably depict most of those things that I have listed here. So what you will do for me is this. Please, all these things that I listed here, all of them are their diagrams are here. So you can know your smartphones is there, your tablet is there, smartwatches, smart glasses, they are all in that there, and security systems are there, household appliances are there, smart TV, gaming consoles, smart cars, RFID, sensors and actuators, and medical devices. They are all what I just put their images here so as to help us in our better identification, just in case we are opportune to see some of them. Are you all with me on this? Can I get a thumbs up if so? All right, thank you very much for that. All right, so let's move forward. So as I was saying, we have various categories of network. We have various categories of network, various categories of networks. So when I was saying about the internet, I was just simply telling you that the internet is not the only network that is existing. There are various other kinds of networks that are existing, and under the categories, we have to still deal with. There is one thing I want you to know about categories and types. So when we talk about categories, we are trying to talk more or categories of network. We are trying to talk more of how small or big something can be. To place something in the category simply means they have related similarities. They have something in common. So that's why they were what? They were categorized together. So category is a more of things that have common ground. You bring them what together and term them by a name. So when we talk about categories of network, we are trying to bring some certain kind of network that have some kind of similarities. So over here in the course of this thing, you are hearing categories of networks. We are trying to tell you how small or big or medium or larger a network what can be. The categories we can place various kind of what networks. So small home network is the one that allows you to do what? Stay in your house, connect your few devices, and then have internet access. So it's just peculiar to you. Small home networks is peculiar to you. It doesn't go beyond the four walls of your home. So if you are in your home sharing your Bluetooth connection with your MP3, it's just within you. Nobody else with outside your home can able to have that kind of access because it is a restricted form of network and it has a range. It can't exceed the range. So if somebody is outside your house, they can't even get access because the range will not reach them. So that is simply on categories that fall under small home network. and invariably Bluetooth is one of them, of course. So we have small office, home office network. So we are now migrating from the home network to the one that encompasses both office and home. Now we are talking about more buildings outside your home. So your whole flat can be termed as a small home and office network. So if invariably there is a kind of network that allows people in your home, in your flat, to share kind of information or data, that form of thing, or within the office that have different compartments, that kind of network is called SOHO, small home office and home networks. So these kind of ones, you can even connect it on what remotely from, you can be wherever you are and still what share access, just the same way most of you, even while you go home, you can still have access to some of the resources because of your company, because they connected you as they added you in their network so that you can be able to have or share the kind of documents you use. So while you are at home, you can pull up anything from your company server. That kind of thing is what we term small and home office networks. So the medium to large is often used by corporations, big schools, institutions, various kind of companies that have different locations. So where we are now talking about more than one locations, company that exist in different states, but they can be able to share resources, company files, company folders, basically wherever they are. Something like a bank. A bank is 10 medium to large networks because banks are established in different form of location, but they share access to the same kind of data. So even if you are in Abuja, you open your account in Imo State or you open your account in Lagos, if you still go to any other state, you will still have access to your information because that's a kind of a medium to large form of a network because it's more of corporation, it's more of schools and hundreds of thousands of interconnected or devices. We have thousands of them. We are no longer talking about minimal. There are many kind of devices that can utilize that form of our network. And lastly, we have the worldwide networks, which the internet is super hiding. Not that doesn't mean the internet is the only thing that when we come for the worldwide network, there are other form of our network, but the internet stood out because it gives us the capability to share information no matter wherever we are in the world. So we are talking about the internet as one of the worldwide networks. So this one is, we talk about millions of computers connecting to this kind of networks. Are you all with me on this? Any concerns? If you are with me, a thumbs up. If you have concerns, please raise up your hand. Let's address that. Okay, thank you very much. So I want to still boil down to personal data in networks, personal data in what network, personal data in network. So every network in it exists a data. There is no network that exists in isolation. When I say isolation, that nothing is happening and network is existing. There has to be something that happened. So for something to have created a path from one system to the another, that means within that system, there has to be something that can be attacked within the course of that information traveling. Let me just say something quickly. If you are having a borehole where you fetch water, and then invariably you have a host to connect your from the mat tap to your gallon of water, for most of you who have done such, the host being a transport mechanism for the water to pass through to get to you, that host has in itself droplets of water. No matter however you want to try, it's still, even if you remove the host, add from, and then try to keep it on its own, you will see that it invariably will pour down some amount of water. It was able to withhold during the course of transferring those information. The same thing also happens for Blessing Chisholm to share information. They utilize various kind of devices that makes it possible. They are called network devices. They are called cables. You have, of course, you have heard that they are underground sea cables that connect one things to the another from different countries. Africa, MTN, for MTN to exist, it's connecting underground cables throughout the underground waters for us to have MTN network. So those things are the things transport mechanism. So data is passing through those wires. If it's wireless, data is still passing through the waves. So whichever case might be, they are personal data relating to you whenever you watch, you utilize a network. Those data can be hidden in any of those systems that make it possible for you to transfer that data to the other system. So what are these types of personal data we can be able to see on a network? One of them is volunteer data. Volunteer data is the one that you invariably you chose to do it. You chose to share that kind of data. Nobody forced you to because of your ability, or you needed to do what? You needed to utilize a kind of platform or another thing. You want to do something when it comes to the network. So those kind of data you supply when you register on social media, those kind of data you supply where you sign up for anything online, those kind of data you give out that requires you to answer or put in a query where asked your name, your first name, your last name, email. Those data are the data you gave out on your own. You volunteered for it. So far as you were involved and you were aware that you were the one giving out such data, is a data that is termed voluntary data in a network. Another form of data is observed data. This one don't even at times need your permission, or you give permission, but you don't even know that something is going down on the hood. And one of those observed data is your locations. Many of us on our location services in order for us to be able to do one thing or the other. So those kind of things gather data about us, the kind of activities that we take, where we are, those form of things, those data form of collection that is done merely by you trying to engage in one thing or the other. So you browsing the internet, you might not choose to give any voluntary data browsing the internet. Nobody is asking you. But while you are on the internet, your activities is being what? Your activities is being what? Observed. And some things are collected. As I just said, your location data, your IP address, all those form of information, the searches that you do online, those form of keywords that you use when you're on your device. If you just want to try it out, just go to your web browser, start typing something that you are used to typing. It will do what we call auto completion because it has already gotten accustomed to the thing that you often want to type. So those things are the things that we talk about when we say observed data. Though inferred data, the one that is derived through what analysis, this is the wait, oh, is it attendance list all of a sudden? You have not even started classes. Anyway, it's okay. So what I'm saying is inferred data is the one that the data that have either been collected through volunteer or through observed, then we are not trying to make an analysis on it. We are trying to use that form of data to come to a conclusion on something. So that's to tell you inferred data is gotten. The raw inferred data, before inferred data can be gotten, we have to see if it was true, voluntary, or observed. So whichever case it might be, then we take those things and we do an analysis on them. For instance, let me just tell you how inferred data works. If assuming I know that every day you come to the internet, right, and every day you log into the internet, that's around 9 a.m. And once it's 9 p.m., you're already off from the internet. You do this regularly. Then someday you're not logged in. So during the weekdays, you normally log in 9 and log off 9 p.m. Then during the weekends, you log in by 12 p.m. and log off by 11 p.m. So over the period of time, what is that data trying to tell me? I'll start saying, oh, it is so clear now that Chisholm, during the weekdays, due to she has to go to work, she will log into the internet by 9 a.m. and log off by 9 p.m. It might not be that strict, maybe let me say 9 p.m., but something like 8:45, 8:30. So I can make the conclusion that Chisholm actually logs in every day by 9 a.m. and logs up by 9 p.m. on the weekdays. And on the weekends, she logs in by 12 p.m. and logs off by what? 11 p.m. That is inferred data. I am making an analysis on it. The same way, if you are trying to go and borrow money from the bank, they will trace your history, trace your account, the way you spend money, all those information that they gather. They are the data that you were the observed one, and some of them were able to volunteer them. So when they start making analysis from it, they will now be able to use that and be able to know if you are eligible for receiving credit. So that's where you now start seeing credit scores, because those are not the data you supply, or those data were not the data you supply in its raw form. Those data decision cannot be made on it, but inferred data helps us to make decisions with those data that are gathered either through voluntary or observed data. So these are the types of personal data can be existing on a network. Are you all with me on this? Do you have concern? One, I saw you raise up your hand. Do you have concern? You can speak up.
Sorry, it was a mistake. Okay.
All right, thank you very much. Okay, so then we have to move forward. I think we are still far. Okay, we are moving. So then can we possibly talk about data transmission? Because possibly you will now be asking yourself, why or how did this data go from one system to the another? So this, because of data transmission, there is a way you have to talk about transmission for it to relate to what we are doing in network. Because if there is no way this data can go from one place to another, then we can't talk about network. Is the ability from data to go from one place to another, we start talking about transmission. So transmission, how does it occur in a network? How does this data flow in a network? How do this data, personal data, volunteer data, leave your network and go through some other means to be delivered to another system that need those information? I've already told you that a computer system understands only one thing. It understands zeros and or one. It understands 0 and 1, which are the basic unit of data. So every data that is in transit invariably is being understood or is being worked out in the thing of zeros and one. So those are the things systems understand. Those are the things devices on a system understands very well. So, being knowing that the formats by which data transmission occurs for devices to computer systems to know what you are saying, then there are methods through which this transmission can go through. These zeros and one, how do they now flow? Since every personal data you submit for computers to understand it is being transcribed to zeros and one. So how does these zeros and one, which medium do these zeros and one follow through in order to get to the person that you are trying to send your personal data to? So invariably your computer will understand zeros and one, but there are methods through which these zeros and one go through. And as I said, there are just 3 of them. These are the transmission medium through which data, which are expressed in zeros and one for computers to use and understand, go through. One of them is electrical signals. So we can use electrical means to send our data. The one that has to use with us using copper wire cables, those ones that enable us to get electricity. So this is a form. So we can invariably say that electrical means of passage of data. So the one that makes it possible, once there is light comes in your environment because something has been communicated. So that form of thing, electrical means of probably transferring data, also works in the network. Electrical pulses on copper wires helps to move this data from one place towards another. So we have the optical signals. These are more of the light pulses. These more like light pulses. We invariably you will see the optical wires. All right, those are the kind of one that run underground seas, because seas have kind of electrical things, interference, because seas actually conduct electricity. So we cannot use something like a transmission medium that uses electrical signal. That is to say, our data will be interrupted. So there is need for optical signals to transmit data that are going on a longer distances. So these optical data convert everything to light pulses. So they convert light pulses so that So that your information can reach to its destination. Let me tell you one thing amazing about this. If one Goldie wants to send any information and she's using application, after she finished inputting those things on the application, what the computer is understanding is zeros and ones. And for the computers to send out those kind of information, it uses zeros and ones. But these zeros and ones due to they can be lost on a transit or something can happen to them. These zeros and one are converted to what we call this medium that enables them to reach their destination. Once they reach their destination by that medium, the computer systems also understands those signals and transfer them back to the zeros and ones that it usually works with. Invariably, transmission medium help us to pass our information so that it will not be hampered, it will not be corrupted on the way, it will go truly. And one of those means, as I said, is electrical, using electrical means. The other one is optical, and the one that we all are used to. Most of it I have not seen, or most of it I have not gotten to see where they use cable to cable connection to transfer data. Wireless signals, the one that uses the radio waves, the one that even if you have not heard about radio waves, you have possibly seen radios, like all these radios that we were using while we were small, how they were able to get signals. We try to move them one place to another to know where the signal is. That kind of things are the things that we say when we talk about radio waves. So that is the wireless kind of signals. They are converted into something that you can't see, is unseen. Waves is unseen, but you feel them. So we utilize them in order to transfer data from one place to the another. So these are the methods of transmitting data. Either they are transferred, these zeros and one transmitted through electrical pulses, these zeros and one transmitted through light pulses, or these zeros and one transmitted through infrared, microwave, or radio wave. These are the names that it bears. Are you all with me on this? Is there any concerns? You can raise them up. If not, can I get a thumbs up? All right, Chisholm, I got you. You can say what you want to
So
say.
I what did you say about optical signals? I lost you at that point, please.
Okay, all right. What I was saying about optical signals is light. Light is a means of transmission. You use light for transmission. Light exists for transmission. A lot of things happen through light. It transmits a lot of things for us. So why we know that light does a lot of things? Why don't we utilize light in order to transfer our data? So what it invariably say, optical signals have to transfer your data to light pulses, so that it can work or it can go further to more of use the long distances. That's what I was trying to say. You might be asking, why did these three signals exist together? Because each of them have advantage, and each of them have their disadvantages. So there is nothing in this word per se that we know that doesn't have a disadvantage. Yes, it has a disadvantage. We haven't. So the optical signals, invariably, those your zeros and ones, they are put in as light pulses, and they are transferred from one place to the another. And I said optical signals is variably used in long distances. So when we want information to be transmitted or data to be transmitted from one system to another in long distances, that's when we start talking about optical signals. Those kind of signals that run from one country to another. I don't know whether most of you know that wire runs through most of the underground seas. Wires run through them. And so most of these wires will not try to utilize electrical form of signals. Why is that so? Because in the waters conduct electricity. Waters conduct waves. They generate a form of electricity and wave. So if we use electrical signals to transfer data, so those data can be corrupted while on the way, because there is what we call interference. Due to there are many things trying to happen at the same time. The waters are trying to generate electricity. We are trying to pass data through what? Electrical or copper wires. So those things will counteract each other. So optical signals come in view because of light pulses. Light pulses are not interfaced or doesn't have those issues when it comes to transferring data through those waves and everything. They are okay. And we can still use wireless signals underground because waves are also part of the things that waters are used to. So when we want to do things, we still consider what means. All of them are good, depending on what are we trying to achieve. So optical signals simply means data converted to light pulses in order for us to transfer them from one system to the other. I don't know if that makes sense to you, Tristan, or is there something that...
Yes. Well understood. Thank you very much, sir.
All right, thank you. Thank you. So are we all on the same page? Are we all on the same page? All right, thank you very much. What am I doing? All right, okay. So let's move over to this is an instance of what it looks like. As you can see, these pulses of electricity. You often see pulses of electricity. This is just PC1 trying to send something to PC2. I'm just trying to Rufiat, you are raising up your hand. Can I hear you speak? Rufiat, yeah, and with you. I can see your hands, you can speak. Rufiat, you are raising up your hands. Can you bring down your hands? If you are don't want to, okay, you are saying that you are following through, but you can bring down your hands so I know that those who are raising up and want to ask questions. You raised your hand up, I hope you are aware. So that being said, this is a diagram of something. I was trying to show an illustration of what pulses of light looks like. More of used to. Most of these things you will not be seeing this thing, but this is how they are represented. If you touch a naked wire, of course, it will shock you. This is a type of electricity trying to tell you electricity is passing through something and is carrying data. This is pulses. You see how light is being reflected. Light is being reflected. Look at how waves. These are the symbols of what waves is like. There are oftentimes you don't touch this, you don't even, you just feel waves, you feel what waves looks like. And then here you often have an idea of what, you visibly see what light and electricity invariably see. This is a diagram of trying to show us how these things are represented in actual world sense. So that's on it. Okay, so I'm still always looking at your hands or whatever comments or paying attention to them just in case anyone has anything, just feel free. All right, so now we want to talk about network terminology in data transmission. So before then, you already see the diagram I sent or we just viewed. All right, so when we talk about transmission, there's something is using a medium. So let's say a wire. For instance, wire connection or cable connection is obtainable when you are doing what? When you are using electrical form of signal or pulses, you often see wires. These are their major technology. They use wire. They use wire for us to be able to pass. They use cables. Sorry, cables is the right word. They use cables, right, for us to see or to make those signals happen or to have a physical look. But waves doesn't have wire. Waves is something that happens. We just feel waves. We feel the same way we feel air. That's also how waves happen. There's nothing like trying to have a hold on it. But in the case of wires, cables can be used whereby either light is passing through that cable or electricity is the one passing through the cable. So whichever the case. So whenever you hear cables, just invariably know that it's talking about one of these signal mode is being used or transmission medium. Either light is passing through the signals or what? Or electricity is passing through. So waves is the one that you know. So far as you are not connected to anything like cable, you invariably know that you are using a wave connection or a wave kind of transmission. So there are network terminologies I want us to talk about in data transmission. That is bandwidth and throughput. Bandwidth and throughput. There is the amount of data every transmission medium, whether what is it called? Every transmission, data transmission medium in networks, whether you are talking about light or electrical signal, or we are talking about waves, there is the amount of data that is required for each of them to what carry. So that is what is called bandwidth. So that amount of expected data is medium, a transmission medium is meant to carry is what we call bandwidth. So it can be 20, it can be 10, and it is measured in the same way most of you see your data, you have MB left. But here we talk about kilobyte per second or megabyte per second or gigabyte per second. That's the measurement they give it. That is to say that at each second, this is the amount of data this device is meant to carry. So if we say this device is meant to carry 10 MB per second, that means for each second that passes, what is expected to pass through that device shouldn't be more than what? 10 MB. That is invariably what bandwidth is saying. Bandwidth can be more, it can be less. So if we said 100 MB per second, that means each data that is passing through that device shouldn't be more than 100 MB. If your data you are sending is more than 100 MB, it will be splitted, and half of it will be sent, consumable to the number of what capacity that bandwidth, that what is it called, that medium can carry. So if your data is less than, it will easily pass, but if it's more than, the networks will break it because that thing can carry more than. That is why most of us experience what slow network or inability to receive data faster. So if the medium you are using says 10 MB per second, and the thing you are trying to send is over more than what? More than, let's say, 100 MB. So it will divide those things per second. How can it be able to send each one per second for it to finish sending the whole 100 MB? I don't know whether you all are getting this I'm saying. If something says I can only carry 100 MB per second, for each second I'm able to carry 100 MB. If you want to send 10 GB of files, of course you cannot send all of them. It will split them in the sense of, okay, since I can carry 10 MB per second, let me be sending 10 MB, 10 MB. So your data of 100 GB will be splitted into 10 MB, 10 MB, 10 MB, 10 MB per second. So it will not determine how many 10 MB per second we make up to 10 gigabytes. That is just what I'm saying. So if it's passing 10 MB per second, how many of seconds will it take it to pass the whole of the 100 GB? So if a medium is 100 MB per second and you are trying to send 10 GB, you will see that it will be faster because it is sending 100 MB per second. So this is just trying to tell you on what bandwidth, the maximum amount of data transfer was capacity. Then what is throughput? Are you getting with me? What's throughput? Throughput is the actual data that is being what? Passed. Don't confuse these two terms. Bandwidth is the maximum data that you can pass through a device. The maximum. So a device can be saying the maximum you can pass through me is 10 MB per second. So why throughput is the actual data transfer rate. So invariably, maybe your network is not transferring less than that bandwidth. So bandwidth can tell you, I can extend to this, but what your network is utilizing is something less than what it. So throughput is the actual data transfer rate. Why bandwidth is the maximum? Throughput is the actual one that passes through. So let me just say this in the what is it called? Let me just say this in a way that we all understand now better. If you have a 10 GB, if you have a 10 liters of can, are you with me? If you have a 10 liters of can, like you fetch water you want, you have a 10 liters, and invariably you as a person, I don't know, ladies, of course, you decided to, how can I carry let me just say 40 liters. How can I carry 40 liters of can and go and fetch water? That's too heavy, but that's the only can we have, right? That's the only can you have. When you went to fetch that water, you know what you can carry is what? Is 20 liters. So you fetched that can to contain 20 liters and you carried it. Does it mean that that can only contain 20 liters? No. The maximum capacity of that can is what? Is 40 liters. And that is what bandwidth is. The actual water that you put inside that was able to what? Enter that can, which is what? 20 liters you can be able to carry, is the actual data transfer rate you are able to utilize. Does that make sense to us? Does that make sense to us? Does that make sense to us? If so, just thumbs up. If there is still any confusion, I can still give so many examples as possible so that we can be able to. Deborah, this is why you are consistently asking for attendance. Is your battery are about to die? Deborah, this is why you are consistently asking. She said, please, people should give her attendance. Let her sign up before her battery will die and she will not attend class. I'll be peace. It's not yet time for attendance list. But I know that you have been in class. Also, they said it's not yet time, so becoming that. All right. So that being said, I hope you all got this thing on these two network technologies on bandwidth and throughput. Bandwidth or throughput, bandwidth and throughput. All right, I just use can. I just use a water can as an example. Water can as an example, right? So a water can as an example. If your mom bought 20 liters of, 40 liters of can and kept it at home, and your dad is the one that normally carries that 20 liters of can, 40 liters of can your mom bought. Your dad usually use it to fetch water. Then now you have started growing up, you have started becoming of age, and your dad traveled one particular day, and your mom told you, we don't have water, please can you fetch water? So that can is a bandwidth of 40 liters. It takes 40 liters. But due to your strength, due to as a youth, you are not up to getting or carrying that kind of thing. The maximum you can carry is what? Is 20 liters. So you went out with a 40-liter can and you what? You took a water that what? Can only serve for 20 liters. That means you fed half of the can. What you invariably do is that the amount of actual thing you put in that car is what is called throughput. And the total can, what it can contain is 40 liters. So if another person comes and decide to what? Decide to put 35, it still doesn't tell you that the can maximum is 35. The can maximum is still 40 liters. So the one you wanted to utilize is what? Is less than the maximum. So the actual data transfer rate. Let me go through this and say this more and more again. If, for instance, Chisom have a device, and that device that Chisom have, based on, due to the technology Chisom is using, is lower than mine, the device I'm using. I'm trying to send Chisom something, and Chisom can, based on her device, Chisom can receive only bit by bit. It can receive 20 data at a time. Why by the wire I'm using to connect to Chisom, or the transfer mechanism I'm using to connect to Chisom, is 40. And my device also transfers at 40. And the cable that is connected is 40. The cable of transmission is 40. My own device takes 40. But Chisom device takes what? 20. A minute, please. Bread. How's the bread? All right, thank you, Anda. So as I said, so your device might be a lower version of something, and mine is higher. And mine is a higher one. That being said, so due to mine is a higher one, the way I transfer data will not be the same way you transfer data. So your device, due to is a lower thing, it will try to accept data bit by bit. Despite the medium we are using have a potential to transfer what? To transfer 40 GB at a time, right? But your device can't be able to deal with such amount. It can only deal with 20 GB. So invariably, my own device can also deal with 40, but your own can only deal with 20. I cannot be transferring something at 40 because your device will what? Crash. So what I will do, due to the bandwidth is 40, but due to your device is not able to handle something around 40, receiving 40. So what I will do, I'll be sending what? 20, 20, 20. But the bandwidth says I can take up to 40 if you have 40 to send. But I decided to be sending 20 because of your what? Device. I was considering it so it will not what? Crash. Because if you send something more than a device will handle, it will crash. So that thing that gives you the ability to send something, the actual thing, despite it is not the maximum, is the throughput, while the bandwidth is the maximum that you can send. So anything less than the maximum can be what? Throughput. But the bandwidth is the maximum which any form of transfer medium can what? Can utilize. Is that clear for the person who said I should explain the throughput again? Who said I should explain the throughput again now? Can you answer? I be want us to still deliver. We are not running it. We are not running anywhere. We all must understand. So did you understand? Hello? I didn't see the person that typed in the chat box. Oh, Faithful, you are giving me a down thumbs up. Is that has a negative feedback. So what's the issue? Tell me. Faithful.
Okay, good evening, sir.
Okay.
I know I wasn't the one that asked the question, but me, I don't seem to get it. I know you are trying to use other things to explain it, but see, I'm
Okay.
not getting it.
All right. Okay. Even the can analogy that I used, you didn't get it. All right. Let me use this one again. All right. Let me just use this. Bandwidth is telling you that you can send 10 GB per second data for me. You can send 10 GB per second data for me. Like I can be able to transfer data 10 GB per second. So each second I can be able to send thing. That is what bandwidth is. Telling you the maximum of data that you can send through a medium. That is what bandwidth is. Did you get that bandwidth on? Faithful, do you get the bandwidth on?
Yes, yes, I got it.
So what throughput is during the course of trying to send that 10 GB per second, some data was lost, some data didn't reach, some data didn't get to the destination, and invariably what actually was now what going through was just 5 GB per second. So the actual data that was sent is what? That 5 GB. But the actual data you could have sent is what? 10 GB. So the throughput is the actual data that you sent. Why the bandwidth is the maximum data you could have what sent. Did you get that?
Yes, yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Are you sure?
Yes, no, you said bandwidth is just like if you want to send, let me say, you want to send a data of about 10 gig. Let me use the word 10 gig, like you understood it. That is the one you can send. But throughput is during the process of sending those data, there was lostage at the process of sending it. So the actual one that we later sent was 10 gig. That was what you later sent. That is the actual one that got to the destination that it was going to. But the amount that you're supposed to send is 10 gig. And the one that got to the destination is 5 gig. I don't know if I'm right.
Yeah. So that's just the
Okay,
simple thing.
thank you.
That's why if you look at my slide, it is well explained in my slide. I was just trying to give what is it called? Much more example so as to the water kind of a thing and all those things to bring it down to what you know. So that's what I said. Often less than the bandwidth due to various factors like data volume and network device latency. So these are the things that impact you not sending your maximum data capacity and you send something less than. It is that one, the actual data transfer rate is throughput. Why the one you could have sent up to is the bandwidth. So something happened that it wasn't utilized, either because of latency or because of the data volume. So I hope that we are all on the same page. Somebody was raising up their hand earlier. Did you want to say anything? You can say something. If not, is there anybody that wants to say something? I heard that someone was raising up their hands. And somebody said something on the comment section as well. I think that was making sense. So, yes. All right. So, that being said, I can we move forward? If that is so, you can give me a thumbs up so that we move forward. We have tried on this slide, but you see, okay, it's all to our betterment so that nobody will be confused on it. All right, thank you. All right, so I want to talk about the kind of roles your device is playing in the network. If you can go back to the slide that we did, or you can go back with regards to the things that you have been writing or the things you have been hearing, you know that I was saying something about devices that can be connected to a what network. So these devices that can be connected to work can obtain either of these two roles. You can't see my slide. Is that true for every other person? You guys can't see my slide. Is there, you guys can't see my slide? Somebody complained they can't see my slide. I am they can see my slide though. I can see it. Oh, they say they can see it. Maybe it's from your network or you didn't pin or the particular slide. I'm sorry about that. So as I was saying, these devices that we made mention of, computers, laptops, all those devices that we mentioned that can be connected to a network, they can play any of these roles, any of these three roles. They can play any of these three roles. Either they are clients and server, peer-to-peer, or they can play multiple roles. That is to say that a device that is connected to a network, let me just tell you, they can play only one of these roles. Either is a client or is a server. Either is a client or is in a server. Either is a client or a server. Forget this peer-to-peer and multiple roles I wrote down here. I will explain them. So for any device, whether computer, laptop, everything you connect to a network, they play just two roles. Either is a client or is a server. When I use or in mathematical terms, when we use or, you know that or means either is a server or is a client and can be both. That's what or means. So that means you can choose to be a client, you can choose to be a server, you can choose to be both a client and a what? Server. That is the roles. All the devices that connect to a network, that is the role they can invariably what? Play. So what are servers? If your device is providing information for other people who are connected on a network, then it is a server. If you are the service provider, any information you are providing in documents or whatever, you are the server. You belong to the server in a network. So that's your role, to provide information for others who are connected in a what? Network. If you are the one requesting information or trying to display an information in a network, you are the what? Client. So most of us here, what we are both doing what? We are both doing client and server roles here. Are you getting what I'm saying? Most of us, because we are providing information and we are receiving information. Me that is sharing this information and you are seeing it, I am taking both roles in a network. But at times, you are the one that is taking just one role or the other. So you can be the client receiving information, only receiving information. You are not giving any form of what? Information. So people are not accessing what is stored on your system. You are the one accessing what is stored in other people's system. So if your device is connected to a network, it is either what? It is either a client or a server. Can I use an ideal example of a Bluetooth? When your speaker connects to your phone, right? When your speaker connects to your phone, and then they start what? Pairing. They start what? Pairing. So what this thing starts pairing is so that it can receive information from your phone and then be able to what? Be able to project it. So at that point, you see almost you and your devices together. You are what? You are on the interface of a client and a server what? Through. You are giving it a song. The thing doesn't have this doesn't have any song. So it doesn't have any song. It is the one that is on your this thing that is helping to what? Display. So it will request a kind of information. It will kind of request. So if you pause your this thing, it will still what? Pause. And it will not sing anything. So I'm just trying to relate it. The same way, if you go on the online system, the things that you try to browse is in some other person's systems. And they are termed as what? Servers. And you are the one requesting for that information and you are displaying them. You are the what? Client. So you can take any of this. So for any device that is connected on the network, is either you are a server or you are a client. So when we say about peer-to-peer, as you saw in that this thing, is when a device serves as both a client and a server. That is when it's called what? Peer-to-peer. That is what we say something is peer-to-peer. That's when a device acts as both a client and a what? Server. So multiple roles is when a device play diverse kind of roles. When I mean diverse kind of roles is that this particular person can be a server serving multiple persons different in various things they are looking for. Let me just say an instance, right? As you can see in the example, there are web servers, there are email servers. What if there is a server that also serves web, also serves email? That kind of thing is doing is multiple roles, because per se is you can either providing one kind of information, but when you are trying to provide different kind of information, you have actually gotten to a multiple roles, taking the multiple roles of providing many form of what functions at the same word time. So this peer-to-peer and multiple roles is more of derivatives of client and server. So client and server is the major thing. Either you are a client or you are a server. So when you are both client and server, they just say you are in a peer-to-peer. When you are a server, but you are not just serving only one kind of information, you are serving different kind of information, you attempt to be in a multiple role. I don't know whether that is net clear. That was the clarification I wanted to show forth with regards to this slide. Is that all good? If you have concerns, please raise up your hand. So we are all good from the hands I'm seeing now. All right, let's move forward. So you can see a graphical illustration trying to show us what I was saying. As you can see, this is view, one client to one server, client and server role. You are the person that is requesting information from a server, and the server is by the means of the internet. This is the network that is connected to you. As I said, you are connected to a network. This internet can be replaced with something else. It can be replaced with your local network. The internet is not the only network, as I said. The internet is not the only network. Bluetooth is a network too. So I'm just trying to bring your knowledge to this. So these devices are connected to the network, which is the internet. So this one is taking the role of a client. This one is taking the role of a server. This one is taking the role of a server. This one is taking the role of a client. So this one requests information from this, and this one serves the information. The same also goes here. This is the multi-role. This diagram here is the multi-role. As you can see, what's it called? Sorry, I say multi-role. This is the client and server. That's the peer-to-peer. This diagram here. As you can see, this print sharing is both serving information to the printer and giving information to the firewall sharing. So you can see that this computer at the middle is doing both the work of providing information and requesting for information. This is what this print sharing is doing. This print sharing, it requests information from the file server, takes it to the printer, and the printer prints it out, and then it gets back to the firewall sharer. So that is to say that this computer at the middle is serving as both a client and a what? Server. Then the third diagram by the ground is the multiple roles I was saying about. You can see this server is not just serving one kind of thing. It is serving the web browser, email client, that's file. It is serving the web browsers. It is serving the email client. It is serving file access. That is to say, it's giving this computer file access. It's giving this computer email client. It's giving this computer file access. It's giving this computer email client. That is to say, this server is serving different kind of information, not just one kind of information. When it is streamlined to one kind of information, there is nothing to call it whether it's not taking any multiple role. You just simply say it's a client and server. So the derivative of client and server is what we now can term as either peer-to-peer or multiple roles. So if a server is serving multiple kind of information, though it is a server, then we can tell me that it is taking multiple roles. Then if a device is both requesting information and what? And sending information, that it requests information and provides information, as this we can see in this second diagram, we can say that it is on a peer-to-peer levels. Is that clear? Are we clear on this? Are we clear on this? Is it getting confusing? Is it getting tight? Is it getting?
Sorry, please,
is it
Mr.
getting
Michael. I just joined back
yes,
again.
okay.
Please, I don't understand what you're saying. Please, I just joined back again. My network was.
Where did you stop hearing from?
I left when you were explaining bandwidth and throughput. That's where I left.
So
this diagram.
wait, that is to say you are on client and what is it called? Roles devices take.
You said what?
You are in roles devices can take in a network.
Okay.
Are you with me?
Yes, I'm with
I
you.
said after that topic, this one, then is this now
This was
roles
okay.
devices
I
can.
was not okay. I was not here when you were taking this. I'll just screenshot it.
So that's what I am saying, that devices can take either a client, that is, it is requesting information, or a server, it is providing information while on a network. So a device can take through any of these roles. So it's either it is requesting information or it is providing information. If it's requesting information, we say that device is a client device. If it's providing information, we say that device is a server. All right. And I said, aside from this, at times, a device can take dual roles. That means it is both a server, it is requesting information, and it's also providing information. That means taking the roles of a client and a server. And that is what we call pair-to-pair. We say the device is a pair to what? Pair. Then, if it is a server, but is not serving only one kind of information, it is serving multiple kind of information. That means it is serving web information, it is serving email information, it is serving DNS, that domain name system, it is serving DSCP, dynamic control. I'm just like mentioning type of applications, everything. So it is serving different kind of information. We can now say that that device takes up a multiple role. Is that well understood, Rofiat?
Yes, thank you very much. Thank you. I understand.
All right, can we move forward? Ladies and gentlemen, can we move forward? Can we move forward? All right, thank you very much for that. So let's talk about network infrastructure. Network infrastructure. What builds this network? What brings this network together? What makes network what it is? What is the foundation of this network? What is the nitty-gritty things that come together and form a network? We cannot say they are networks. So that's the infrastructure or the components that are essential for networks to what exist. And one of those components is end devices. Your computers, your smartphone, those devices that connect to a network, they are called what? End devices. Intermediate devices are the ones that enable your information to be passed across from one to help us to pass information across. That is what we call intermediate devices, and we can see them as routers and switches. Network medias are the medium, that one that we are talking about, bandwidth, and then what is it called? Bandwidth. We are talking about signals, we are talking about electrical cables, they all belong to network media. Those are the medium through which data passes through. So we have end devices. End devices can be either what? Servers or what? Client, as I already said, because they play any of those what? Roles. So it can be your computers, it can be the server on the internet, it can be a web server, it can be anything. So far as it's on the process of providing or what? Requesting for information, it is termed end devices. Intermediate devices are devices that stand at the middle to propagate this information. So for Faithful to rightfully send me an information that belongs to me, those routers and switches make it possible for it to get to me. So routers and switches is that thing that makes it possible for it to get to me. So, but these end devices and intermediate devices need to be connected together. And how do they need to be connected? With the help of a network or media, that is cables or wireless signals. I hope that you all understood that. That's the simplest way I just felt like we should do this. End devices can be servers or clients. They are always providing or receiving what? Information. Intermediate devices are the devices that propagate those data to ensure it gets to the actual devices. So if I'm trying to send something to Faithful, let's assume Faithful is the server and I'm the what? Client. Both of us are end devices. They belong to a component of end devices. I will need an intermediate devices that will know where Faithful is located on the network and send that data directly to what? Faithful. That thing is what I call the intermediate devices. But these intermediate devices can't just stand alone. There needs to be kind of connection between end devices and these intermediate devices. And that is where network media comes in. Those wires, or it can be wireless, those cables that bring those devices together. So those wires will be the pathway through those data passes through. Then when it gets to the intermediate device, when Faithful is trying to send me something, there is a network media, whether wireless or wired, that connects to the what intermediate device. So when the intermediate device receives that thing, it will say, oh, where is Michael located on the network? It will say, okay, it's located. It will now send it through what? The network media that will go to what? Michael. And when it comes to me, I will receive that information. So this is how the infrastructure of network is built on. End devices, intermediate devices, and network devices. Did we get that? Did we get that? All right, thank you very much. So I think so. Look at them. Look at them. So look at your iPhone, your wireless, your printer, your laptop. Those ones are either they are providing information or they are receiving information. So look at them here. As many as they are more than these numbers when we talk about end devices, they are more than it. We can see the intermediary devices. We have the wireless. We can see firewall. Firewall that we use to configure rules. I think we have done firewalls. I have said something on it. Configure rules of what enters our network and what doesn't enter. You will see that it is one of the intermediate devices. So it helps us to know whether this thing will it get to Michael, or is it something that will harm Michael. If it's something that it will harm Michael, it will stop it from what coming to me. So you see, that is why I say intermediary devices are necessary. So they help to checkmate, they help to ensure that data gets to the right person, and then evaluates and does everything in between. I hope that is well understood. This is intermediary devices. This is the network media that I was talking about. You can see the wireless like waves. You can't even see it. You can see the LAN, local area network media. This is the cable. You can see the WAN. This is another type of cable. So either it is wired or wireless. Network media can be wired or wireless. So they help us to connect these whole devices together. So let me show you a diagram where those things is connected. Are you seeing this? Are you seeing this? So you can see the end devices here. You can see it. This man is on his computer. This is the computer. These are end device. Look at the server. As I was saying, look at the clients. Look at the iPhone. Sorry, the IP phone. Look at switches. Switches helps us to know where these ports are connected, and it helps us to send message so that we will not be confused. Look at the network media. There are these lines you are seeing that connect these devices are the network media. Look at the intermediate devices. Look at the switch. They connect the end devices, and they can also connect to themselves. Look at the switch connecting to the router. Look at the switch connecting to the router. Look at, so they ensure that once you want to send something from here, let's assume this is Golden. Golden, this is you. This man here. Sorry, that's me. That's a man. So look at Golden here, this female here. If I want to send something to Golden, I will send it through this network media. It goes. When the switch receives it, the switch will be like, who is Golden? Who is Golden? It will check among all these things connected to it, and it will know that Golden is not here. It will pass it to the what? It will pass it to the router. This router will say, where is Golden? Where is Golden on this network? And you know that Golden is not here, or so you say just pass it up. So when it goes or uses any of this person will say, where can I locate Golden? This Golden is not here. This is the place that actually send me the message. So let me just try sending here or here. So it will send here. And when this one will check, it will be like, no, Golden is not here. Let me just try sending here. So this is what they do. They have this knowledge, pre-information. So once it gets here, it'll be like, oh, Golden. Let me just send here. When it sends here, the switch will be like, Golden, where is Golden here? It will not send to this. So you see, these network medias are pathways through which these devices, whether intermediate devices or end devices, are what connected. Is the diagram well explained? Is the diagram well explained? Golden, sorry for using you.
Yes.
Sorry for using you for analysis. I beg. Somebody raised up their hand. Somebody raised up their hands. Is that to acknowledge that you are with
Please,
me?
Yes,
Mr.
yes, yes.
Moke, please let me ask question.
Okay.
End devices, are they the same thing as endpoints?
Yes, they are endpoints. Yes, they are endpoints. Often, when we talk
Yeah,
about
endpoint.
endpoint security, we are talking about end devices. That's what they call. When you say point to point, that's what they are known for.
Okay, okay. Thank you very much.
All right, so let's move forward. My battery is 23, but I know it will help us to round up. So, so we have ISP connectivity. ISP connectivity. So this is internet service provider connectivities. So many of you will be asking so many questions now because you all might not be used to that diagram that I shared or showed you how infrastructure of the network is. Many of you utilize your ISP, so you don't know what your ISP does. But those things I shared is the same thing that your ISP does for. They connect all these form of devices in their station, and then they give you a kind of way by which you can connect to those kind of devices so as to share information. So all those things you see are existing in your network, but the only thing is your ISP is just making things easier for you. They will not show you the backbone of your internet connectivity, but you just receive it. Some of you just need SIM and you start browsing. But everything that you have to know is that for that thing to be available to you, that means there is a series of wires, cables, devices here and there that brought about the network that you are using, whether wireless or what, wired. So what an internet service provider will do to you is to help you to connect to the what, internet. That's why they came. So many of them gave you a SIM card. Many of them gave you a SIM card. And then from there, you can have access to the network. So, but aside from that, SIM card is not the only way. That's the one we call cellular, as you can see it here. There are connection types your ISP helps you so as to get internet connection. So I just want to broaden your horizon so that you know that your cellular is not just the only form of connection to your what? Internet through your ISP. So your ISP is the one that bridges the gap between your home network and the internet. So it helps you to connect to the internet. It gives you that ability to connect to the internet. So it have already done all the hard work for you. It have put in all those basic devices in place so that you can be able to connect to a what? To the network. And that is invariably what I'm trying to say, that these connection types they can provide to you for you to connect to the internet is what? Cable. Cable. So for most of you who are used to using television service providers, so they will give you a cable, they will give you an antenna that runs through, and from there you can be able to have access to TV stations and services. That's the kind of thing. So our internet service provider can provide you with a kind of cable that helps you to provide you some people, like as I said, TV gives you a form of connection to their what servers, and you see them telling you to mount a dish on top. Then from that dish, connect your cable to your decoder. So you will now start receiving this thing. So what you are using, you are combining two things at the same time. You are combining what we call a satellite dish plus cable, because that cable is what gives you the ability to receive TV station from the what? From the satellite dish. So you are combining two things at the same time. When I'm not talking about the various connection types to the what? Internet. So whereby you are receiving this is because there is a cable what? Connection. So I'm just like saying with regards to TV, that's where you mostly see the cable connection to the what? Internet. We have the digital subscriber line. This is the one, if you often use that telephone, I don't know many of you that use that telephone that is in office. All right, so that is connected, is more of having customer care service, what is it called? Line. So you just use it and you make the kind of what call. There is digital subscribers line that they what give you in order to what for telephone lines to make what calls to make this kind of what thing. And we have another form of what cellular. Cellular is the one your cell phone is used with. Your cell phone has to connect to. Yes, landlines. Yes, I think, yeah, that's it. Landlines. We have landlines. Yeah, that's the form of things I'm talking about. The landline is I think there's a digital subscriber line form of things, which enables you to have access to the network or services, and you're able to call any person from any part of the world. So the cellular is the one that your cell phone is using. So your cell phone has this kind of dishes and antenna mounted. your cell phone have a kind of thing that communicates to those dishes. So those form of things is the kind of one that we term cellular because it's specifically made for your cell phone. You have the satellite, and is often used in remote areas. As I already said, you already used to satellite dishes. The thing that enable you to navigate through Google Map is because of satellite. That satellite technology is one enables you to do those form of what things. So another form of way of this thing is dial-up telephone. There is a kind of thing that we use when we started the internet. It's called the modem. The modem is the explicit example of a dial-up telephone. So we also have the one that will tell you to dial a certain number. And once that number you dial it, you will start having access to the internet. This is the ways in which your service providers have given you access to the world internet. Either they give you access to the internet through cables, through digital subscriber line, through cellular, as most of us have, through satellite dishes and satellite links, or dial-up telephone, maybe modems, or trying to tell you to dial a particular code in order to access the internet. So these are the provisions. Whichever provisions that you have been utilizing or you have good or you have used in the past, this is the ability for your network to receive any form of uh, internet connection. I don't know if you all got that. If that's a yes, can I get a thumbs up? If that's a no, can you express your concern? All right. Thank you very much. So you can see them. You can see what I'm trying to say. Look at your internet service provider standing there as the organ of your network. So for you to be able to share information or get information outside your local context or environment, you have to use an internet service provider which gives you access to the internet utilizing any of the medium of dial-up telephone, satellite, cellular. You see, cellular is always as waves, and even satellite too as waves. That your television, that satellite dish is as waves. So they will start pushing it till they get service from the main television service provider. So they will be shifting that satellite to they can be able to get service. If most of you have been there when they have done installation of your TV, this is invariably a diagram representing what I was trying to say. So this is also the way of trying to give you a physical overlay of what it means. So this is your ISP, Internet Service Provider. So if you are the one that have started using physical devices, you will often not see the satellite of a thing. Maybe you are using a router. For most of you who are using router, and then sometimes you will see that this router has modem integrated to it, right? The router has a modem. Sometimes that's how it is. So, but if your service provider gives you a router, that is invariably telling you, I'm giving you a means through which you can connect to me. So if you have a router, like some of you do have a router, or some of you do have a MiFi, what the internet service provider did was to give you a way through which to connect to their server, and from then have access to the world internet. So whichever case might be, either they give you a physical device like a modem, as many of you have that modem that we are using those times to connect. They will tell you plug in a modem in your system. So they will at times give you a router, and the router does the functionality of what a modem would do. So these are just purely showing you that your device needs an external form of help. Your local device is doing that a form of help to be connecting to the what internet, and that's what your ISP came to do for you. They gives you the mechanism for which you can connect to the what internet, because left alone for you, you don't have the whole setup. You don't have the what it takes as a person to connect to the what internet. There are many things that you have to have, and those things, those devices, as I mentioned, switches, all those firewalls, all those things, you don't have them. So your ISP takes care of that thing and gives you the way through which you can connect, and then charges you. That's why you are being charged for data. For those heavy duty machines to be running 24/7, we are being charged for our usage, and they monitor those things. And these devices that they give us have a means of monitoring how many data we are using, how many data we are requesting, and they can now charge us appropriately. I hope we are all on the same page. Thank you very much. All right. This is a class exercise, as I said. I just wanted you to do this, this. I just wanted to tell you how, have a feel of how computers represent those digits that you type. There is what is called ASCII encoding. Please get the full meaning. I already tell you anything I use short form, it's just for the basis of the slide. American Standard Something Information Interchange, Code Interchange, yes. American Standard Code Information Interchange, sometimes around that. Yeah. So why they do this is to help the computer or to showcase us the way where each computer represent characters that we type. So even if you type spacebar, computer have a way to represent it in binary. As I told you, hardwares in computer understand only zeros and one. So majorly what you'll be doing for yourself at a kind of assessment is to represent your name as binary. Each of the letters of your name as binary. Choose either your surname, your surname, I think, I don't know, your surname or your first name, whichever one. Represent them as binary using the ASCII encoding. Please browse, what is it called, the ASCII encoding table. It has a table that will tell you what A represents in binary, what B represents, what capital. Just know that every of them, capital and small letter, represent different things. They are not the same thing. Computer doesn't treat them in a way. So represent your surname with using this ASCII encode. As you can see, capital A here represents 65, I guess so. And 65 in binary means 01000001. So this is how computer represent. Whenever you type A, this is how they see it. And number 9, this is how they see it. Special character like star, this is how they see it. So use the internet to search for the table and represent your surname using this ASCII encoding. That's your class exercise. I don't know if there's any other thing I'm missing. If there is, please let me know. If there is not, I guess that we have exhausted
Sorry, sir.
everything.
Please, can you explain that class exercise again, please?
All
Please, I
right,
don't get it.
I just said you should go and browse. What is it called? ASCII encoding is a way to show us how computers represent everything that we type based on human understanding. We see A, we type hash, we type bar, we type space bar. So for us to know the actual thing in binary, we use ASCII encoding table. Encoding table. This is not hexadecimal. This is binary. Binary is 0 or 1. So it uses AI encoding to tell us the actual meaning of each thing that we type, whether alphabet, whether special character. So capital letter A in binary means 0100. So whenever you type capital letter A, this is how the computer sees 01000. 010001. So whenever you type 9, this is how the computer see. Whenever you type this special character, this is how there are many more of them. You can see their representation, even if we know that we have not done how to convert characters from our normal decimal to binary. Yes, but with the ASCII encoded, you'll be able to know what each letter represents in binary. So use that to represent your surname. So if your surname is some of your surname is short or faithful, your surname is short, it looks like you will add your first name, but whichever one, use it to represent your surname. Just browse ASI encoding table. You will see what capital letter A, what it means in binary is different from small letter A. So be mindful of that in trying to represent. It is binary digits. Binary is the representation. So I hope that you all understood that. So from the whole class, this is the introduction to the major topic on networking. Ayomide Ade Tola, what's your question, please? I'm waiting. Okay, she has Brenna. So we understood today's topic. No question. Please, who is meant to share attendance? Where is peace?
God, I'm so sorry.
Peace.
Good evening, sir. I thought I was unmuted. Can you hear me?
Okay. Yeah, I can hear you now.
I'm so sorry, I was talking. Yes, we're talking about internet service providers.
Can you give me a
So,
minute, please? A minute, please.
all right.
All right, I'm with you. You can start speaking now, please. Sorry.
Okay. So my question is, we're talking about internet service providers, and cellular is not the only way you can get internet. My first
Yes.
question is, what happens when a Nigerian goes out of Nigeria? Their internet collapses completely. My first question is, what happened? And in that kind of scenario, aside from getting an international cellular,
I can't hear you any longer. Hello? I can't hear you anymore. Is your network bridging? I don't know. Please, are you not on the call for the attendance? Ayomide, I didn't hear you. Like your network stopped.
oh, okay. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay, so you were talking about internet service providers and the different means by which we can get internet. That cellular is not the only alternative. Now, when a
Yeah.
Nigerian goes out of Nigeria, their
Mm.
network collapse immediately. So, what causes that breach in network communication?
All right. Let me just say this. All right. If MTN in South Africa, I get what I'm saying. They have a means of trying to give you numbers to identify your country where you belong. And they have this kind of network that they set up for particular to serve a particular region. Right? So they have set up those kind of things. So beyond that region, they don't support anything of such. I get what I'm saying. So they don't have any service provision for people who are not within that region. So if you are in Nigeria, of course, they expect you to be within the region of Nigeria to you to use services available to you. So they have put in infrastructures and devices tailored to people to serve people in Nigeria. So if you take within the network coverage of Nigeria, you left the network coverage of Nigeria. What you lost access to was access to the network because they don't have network that will give you those kind of abilities set up while you go outside there. So they don't have any provision for that. So they sometimes service provider, most time all of them serve specific regions based on what is available to them. So the availability of networks to you is what you will utilize. So anything that is not available to you in a region, you can't utilize it. That is to say, if you are in Nigeria, they have a specific network that serves the Nigeria region. So if you take a network that is not in Nigeria and come into Nigeria, it will not work because there is no infrastructure to support your own your own device or the network that they have given. I don't know whether you understand what I'm saying.
Yes, I understand. Thank you, sir. I understand.
Okay. So any other person? It looks like today everybody understood. Everybody understood. So can we call it a day now since everybody understood? Even me, sir. I'm even me, I will still understand, sir. I will still, if I'm in the class, I want to understand because I will still want to understand, but I still want questions though if there's any issue. If there's any issue, please bring it up, bring it up. We are not afraid to get everything tackled up. But if not, please just go and keep on doing your best as you always used to do. Exercise, don't submit any exercise, keep it for yourself. Anything I told you to do is for yourself, is for your portfolio, especially the conducting security audit I told you to do is for your portfolio. Keep it just in case when you want to apply for internship, you want to apply for jobs, and they tell you what have you done? What have you done? Just tell them I've done something. Right. So that's why I'm giving you those things so that it helps you. So nothing is new to you any longer. So anything I give you is to serve your purpose of your applications or to get a job or whatever it's just for. So you are not submitting. This is not anyone. Be accountable to yourself. I know when they say submission, it will make people to start doing it. So you are the accountability partner you always have. Nobody is forcing you to do anything. So it's left for you to do them. Unless TFM wants to ask you about it. But me, I don't have anything to do with it. I'll just do my part. Then if there is any form of correction or deliberations, I will bring it up back to tell you that this is the correct way of doing this thing. And that's it. But for now, every assessment is for your own good. Rofiat.
Okay. Please, I noticed the ASCII code is different from binary, sir.
How is it different from binary?
On the internet, there are places that they are writing ASCII, but they are not putting binary there. But they are
AI.
writing it as they are ASCII. They are not putting binary in front of it.
Ah, is that the AIC table?
Yes, I'm seeing a octa, decimal octa, hexa. Which other one, sir?
Please do for the binary one. That's the one I need. ASI encoding. I think it
Okay.
has for various hexadecimal. It has for what's
Oh,
it called? Octal. Please only for the
octa.
decimal one, so that we will know what the
Okay.
computer uses this what's the binary. They only for the
Binary.
binary one. Yes.
Okay.
Octal is for
Okay.
us self, and hexadecimal is also for higher systems like higher levels. But
Oh,
basic machine language is 0 and 1. Please do only for the
it's
binary one.
binary.
Please do for only
Okay.
for the binary one. You will see ASI
Okay.
encoded for only binary. It will tell you, you will just see that it is mostly zeros and one. That's all you'll be seeing. There is no other value
Yeah.
you'll be seeing in the representation. It's just 0 and 1.
Okay. Okay. Thank you very much.
All right,
Just want
no
to
problem.
clarify that.
Okay, thank you very much for that.
No
I don't
problem, sir.
know. For those asking for attendance, that's the same thing. I don't know. Peace. I was thinking that peace, peace dropped attendance. I don't know. Is peace on the call? Hello. Sorry. Good evening. Won't there be attendance? All right. I just called her with regards to the attendance. I don't think if it will be feasible. I don't know. She said what's it called? The place that normally the person that provides the link is our system is down, and probably I don't know. It will be possible. How do you think of gathering the names any longer? Do you know what will happen? Do you know what will happen? For easier this thing, just snap your this thing, snap your screen this thing. Are you all with me? Snap your screen, screenshot your screen just to show that you attended the class. That's just it. Screenshot your screen. That's the one you are that have the way you are now on the call. Screenshot your screen. That's the only way. For this, I think this is I will I will screenshot this class exercise. This screen will show that you are in the class. Then you can rectify it with her. I think most of you have this thing, so she will not take note that you attended class. I think that's the best way. All of you screenshot your screen, then send it. I know you guys are dropping your names. I don't know if there's there any other person that wants to take those names, but screenshot your screen, then later you forward it to us since we are having such an issue. Okay, I think we all should have been done with the screenshot by now. It doesn't take time. Just screenshot it. That's the only reason why nobody that is not in class that will have this kind of screenshot that will have your name and the slide. So screenshot your
Okay, sir.
screen. Later you send it to her, then she will take notes. All right. I think that's a
Okay,
good.
sir.
All right. I think I'm done for today.
Thank you,
You
sir.
all should have a good day and then see you by weekend. Thank you and God bless you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.